You have been fixing the wrong things. The new job, the new city, the new relationship, the new routine, the new diet, the fresh start that was supposed to feel different this time. And it did feel different for about 3 weeks, maybe 4. And then the same patterns came back. The same self-sabotage, the same ceiling, the same version of you showing up in a different set of circumstances and producing the same results. And you stood there wondering what was wrong with the plan. What was wrong with the environment? What was wrong with the people around you? What was wrong with the timing? Nothing was wrong with any of those things. Everything was wrong with the one thing you took with you everywhere you went. The one thing you never thought to fix first. The one thing that was always the problem and always will be until you deal with it directly. Your mind, not your strategy, not your resources, not your network or your schedule or your circumstances. Your mind, the operating system that runs everything else. The foundation that every plan, every relationship, every attempt at a better life is built on. Fix the mind first. Fix it before anything else. Because until you do, you are renovating rooms in a building with a cracked foundation. It looks better for a while. Then the cracks come back. They always come back. Let me be direct about something most people spend years learning the hard way. Your external life is a printout of your internal world. Not a partial reflection, not an occasional correlation. A direct, consistent, unflinching printout. The way your relationships look is a printout of how you relate to yourself. The way your finances look is a printout of your beliefs about money and your worth and what you deserve. The way your body looks is a printout of the daily decisions produced by your mental patterns. The way your career looks is a printout of whether your mind operates from confidence or from fear. You cannot outwork a broken mind. You cannot out-strategize it. You cannot run fast enough, earn enough, achieve enough to escape the gravitational pull of a mind that is working against you. People try. They work 80-hour weeks and stay broke because their mind is wired for scarcity. They build relationships and watch them collapse because their mind is wired for abandonment. They reach goals and feel nothing because their mind is wired to dismiss accomplishment the moment it arrives. The results change the moment the mind changes. Not before, not after, the moment. Because the mind is not one factor among many, it is the root. And you do not fix a tree by polishing its fruit. You fix it at the root. Everything else is cosmetic until that work is done. So let us do the work, step by step, from the inside out, starting now. The first step in rebuilding the mind is the one most people skip entirely. Because it is uncomfortable. Because it requires you to look at yourself with an honesty most people reserve for judging others. You have to diagnose the pattern, not the surface behavior, the pattern underneath it. The recurring theme in your life that keeps showing up, regardless of what you change on the outside. The relationship dynamic that repeats with different people. The financial ceiling that resets every time you get close to breaking through it. The moment in every pursuit where you always seem to find a reason to pull back. That pattern is not bad luck. It is not coincidence, it is programming. Deep, early, thoroughly reinforced programming that your mind is executing faithfully whether you asked it to or not. And until you see it clearly, name it, trace it, understand where it came from and what it is protecting you from, you cannot change it. You can only keep acting it out in slightly different costumes. So write it down, right now. The one pattern that keeps appearing in your life no matter what you do on the outside. The repeating story. The familiar ceiling. The predictable point of collapse. See it. Name it. Because a pattern named honestly has lost the invisibility that made it so powerful. You cannot dismantle what you refuse to look at directly. This step is not optional. It is the foundation of everything that follows. Every destructive mental pattern is held in place by a story. A narrative your mind has been running, usually since childhood, usually adopted from pain or fear or disappointment. That explains why this pattern is necessary, why it makes sense, why it is actually the reasonable response to an unreasonable world. The story sounds like, I cannot trust people because the ones I trusted let me down. I cannot succeed financially because nobody in my family ever has. I cannot sustain anything because everything I have built has eventually fallen apart. These stories feel like wisdom. They feel like hard-earned truth drawn from lived experience. They are not. They are conclusions drawn from limited data and reinforced by a mind that finds what it is looking for. Challenge the story, not by replacing it with a positive affirmation. That does not work, and you already know it does not work. Challenge it with evidence. Real, specific, documented evidence that contradicts the narrative. The times you did trust and it was not betrayed. The moments you did succeed despite the inherited belief that success was not for people like you. The things you built that held longer than the story gives you credit for. The story is not the truth. It is a hypothesis your mind formed under pressure and never revisited. Revisit it now. Cross-examine it like it is on trial. Because it is, and the verdict determines whether you spend the next decade inside the story or outside it. Demand evidence. Reject what cannot prove itself, and begin constructing a new narrative built on what is actually true about you rather than what pain taught you to believe. You cannot rebuild a mind while continuing to flood it with the same inputs that broke it. This is not abstract. This is architecture. What you consume daily, the content, the conversations, the environments, the voices you allow to have regular access to your attention, is directly, physically reshaping your brain. The mind you have right now is the product of everything you have repeatedly given your attention to. Change the inputs, and you change the mind. Keep the inputs the same, and no amount of intention or effort will hold against the current. Start with what you listen to in the first and last hour of each day. Those hours are not casual. The mind is most permeable when it is transitioning in and out of sleep. What enters in those hours goes deep. What enters repeatedly goes deeper. If the first thing your mind consumes in the morning is noise, outrage, other people's emergencies, that is the frequency it operates on for the day. Choose differently. Choose inputs that reinforce the mind you are building rather than the one you are trying to leave behind. Then audit the conversations. The people who consistently introduce doubt, smallness, cynicism, and low expectations into your mental environment are not neutral. They are structural. They are part of the architecture of the old mind. You do not have to remove people from your life. But you do have to become deliberate about what you allow those relationships to deposit into your thinking. Guard the input. Guard it aggressively, because the mind you are building is still new and still fragile, and the old inputs are stronger than you think. Here is the step where most mindset work falls apart, because steps 1 through 3 can be done in comfort. In a journal, in a quiet room, with a podcast playing and a coffee getting cold. They feel like progress. And they are. But they are preparation for the actual work, not the work itself. The actual work happens under pressure. The new mind is not built by reading about it. It is built in the moment when the old pattern fires and you choose differently. In the moment when the familiar story floods in and you refuse to act from it. In the moment when the old response is right there, automatic, deeply grooved, completely available, and you pause, and you breathe, and you ask, is this the old mind or the new one? And you act from the answer. Those moments are uncomfortable. They are supposed to be. Discomfort is the sensation of a new neural pathway being built in real time. It is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is changing. Welcome it. Not because it is pleasant, but because it is evidence. Evidence that the rebuilding is happening where it counts. In live conditions, under real pressure, in the moments that actually shape who you are. Every time you catch the old pattern and choose the new response, the new mind gets stronger. Every time you let the old pattern run unchallenged, it does too. This is the daily battle. This is where the real work lives. Not in the preparation, but in the practice. Show up for it every day, and the mind that emerges will not resemble the one you started with. Let me leave you with the only thing that matters after everything you have just heard. None of this works if you treat it like information. Information without application is just entertainment. And you do not need more entertainment. You need more execution. You need to take what you have just heard and begin today, immediately, before the feeling fades and the old mind reasserts its authority, to actually do the work. Diagnose the pattern. Write it down right now, not later, now. The one recurring story in your life that keeps costing you. Name it, own it, strip it of the invisibility that has made it so durable. Challenge the story it is built on. Find the evidence that contradicts it. Not the comfortable evidence, the true evidence. The moments you were more than the pattern said you were. Build a new narrative from those moments and begin living from it before it feels completely natural. It will not feel natural at first. Do it anyway. Control what goes into your mind daily, like your life depends on it, because it does. Every input is a vote for the mind you are building or the one you are trying to leave. Vote deliberately. Vote consistently. Vote like the person you are becoming is watching, because they are. And practice under pressure. Every single day. In the small moments and the large ones. In the moments nobody sees, and the ones everyone does. Build the new mind in the only place it can actually be built. In real life, in real time, under real conditions. Stop fixing everything around you and fix the thing everything else depends on. Fix your mind. Fix it first. Fix it now. And watch everything else follow.